now's a time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there.
Ooh.
Without a leader.
True internet suffered depression.
You are fake news.
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. If I can circle back, I'll circle back with you. Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello and welcome to episode 262 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I am Jeffrey.
Brian.
And we're just two guys drinking beer and talking about what's going on. And it appears Trump is coming. I don't know if you've noticed, but a whole bunch of stuff has already started to change, and he hasn't even taken office yet.
Nope. They kind of predicted this would happen.
Yeah. Netanyahu's looking, has already started a ceasefire.
Yeah, with Hezbollah, not Hamas.
Yeah, even though they just blew up a dude today or yesterday. But yeah, all sorts of stuff. Russia's, Mexico, Canada. Uh, remember that teacher in Connecticut who threatened to kill her Trump supporting students?
No, I missed that.
Oh, we talked about it the last episode, last week. She was promptly fired, and now she's talking about running for office.
Oh,
So,
good.
you know, the Party of Unity wants to kill people that vote the other way.
Right.
So, you know, you can't make this shit up, dude, you know?
No.
Meanwhile, judge has dismissed Trump's 2020 election interference charges. That was what Jack Smith was running on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he's looking at some consequences for this obvious witch hunt.
Yeah, they've been told not to destroy any records once they conveniently resign before Trump fires them.
Yeah, unbelievable. And everyone who's asked to go over to Blue Sky, which I think is hilarious because they did this last time and they all
Yeah.
ran over to Threads and Mastodon and they came
And
right
they
back. They've already,
freaked about, oh, there's no moderation. It's dangerous here. This is worse than being on True Social.
how is it dangerous?
I don't know.
Are you being physically accosted online? You know, you can just not turn it on, right?
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. And Blue Sky didn't have any of these complaints until everybody started leaving X and going to Blue Sky. So all the people that complain, the Karens of the social media world are now on Blue Sky.
Yeah. This person disagrees with me. Please make them stop. And Bezos has come out and is like, guys, we've gotten like 48,000 complaints since this election, and normally we get like 100,000 a year.
If that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the 2 years ago they didn't get any complaints, or they got
Well,
less than like 200 or something like that. Yeah.
well, what's interesting too about that is apparently kiddie porn is exploding on Blue Sky right now. And look, you got a whole bunch of these far left Dems that are fleeing everywhere else and running over there, and all of a sudden there's a boom in kiddie porn. I wonder if there's
Not
some kind of,
another reason for me to stay on Blue Sky.
I wonder if there's a correlation there of the people going there
I
and
don't want to
perhaps
be
the ones posting this stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to be accused of looking for child porn anywhere. That's not my
Oh my God.
thing.
Yeah, they'll complain about someone disagreeing with them politically, but it's okay to show a picture, a naked picture of your kid as long as you trans them, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Apparently, 70% of Biden's education reform went,
Enforcement.
yeah, enforcement
Yeah.
went to Christian schools and career schools like trade schools.
Right. They didn't want those.
Yeah, and you wonder why the Christians didn't have anything to do with your party, and you're wondering why the blue collar workers didn't want to vote for your party. You know, like they're here for the working people, but we're not going to let you go to school to be a working person. We want you to come out and regurgitate the same garbage the losing party is spitting out everywhere. Again, you can't make this stuff up, man. Then they tell you like, "Oh, you guys are all stupid." It's like, no, no, like got this one dude I talked to. I've known him forever, Sean, and he just
Yeah.
says the dumbest shit. And he's like, "Oh, yo, you don't. What do you know? You didn't go to college, dude. I have fucking 3 college degrees.
Yeah, just don't show it off,
Yeah, granted, my associates in what do they call it? Some occupational science doesn't mean much to most people, but it means I could take a fucking car apart and put it back together. Meanwhile, this guy couldn't change his oil if his life depended on it, and he's telling me I'm dumb. Like there's a thing of like real life skills. Like, should power get shut off tomorrow, I guarantee you I could survive longer than 99% of my friends. I mean, they don't know how to they wouldn't know where to get food. They wouldn't know how to stay warm. Uh, they wouldn't know how to keep their vehicles running, stuff like that. Shit, I got 800 gallons of propane in my yard to run my house if I need it, or whatever else I might use it for. Oh, and by the way, I recently for my birthday on the 1st, I got a smelting furnace. So I'm melting down metals and pouring them now. I can, and I got a forge. I can make tools. I know how to use a lathe. I can weld. I'm a carpenter. And these are all things that like, oh, what good's that going to do you? It's like I don't have to pay someone $1,700 to come and change my fucking cabinets in my kitchen. I can do it myself. Uh, oh my God. Yeah, and then at the same time, you got NBC telling everyone that they're fucking stupid, and you must be the dummy if you can't feed 10 people for at Thanksgiving for what is it? $58. Um, I don't know how many people you had at Thanksgiving, but I bet you spent more than $58.
Well, I'm in a catch-22 here because we really didn't do a meal at the house. We went to the VFW post and did our meal. I did deep fry 6 turkeys for the amount of people that showed up. So,
Okay, that though six, that's a lot of turkey.
yep.
We bought 2 birds because they were cheap. We just put one in the freezer over here. We're gonna be having turkey and ham on Christmas. Wife won't eat goose. Has no interest in cooking a goose, but oh well.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was really good. It was long. I started cooking at 10 in the morning and went home at 5 in the afternoon. But we had probably 100, 125 people there that, were looking for a place to eat food, and they came in, had a good time. I watched the Lions barely win the football game that they had wrapped up in the first half, and so I was happy about
Did you
that.
did you see the Trump shimmy at the game? Did it happen?
Probably, I wasn't really paying that close
Yeah.
attention, but
Yeah, it's tough to watch football while you're cooking.
yeah,
And I think this might be the first year in like 15 years I didn't watch the Lions playing Thanksgiving. They always play Thanksgiving.
I know. And this is the first time since 2016 that they've actually won the game.
Yeah, well, they don't win often anyway, but apparently they've had a decent season this year.
They're only 11 and 1.
11-1's pretty damn good. I don't care about the Safari, Chrome, and Edge stuff. The FBI is warning about scam sites for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We all know this by now, and if you're gonna get caught in these scams, you're gonna get caught even if you were warned, and we all know that. But this next one gets me. I've never heard of this place. Wanaka. I don't know what it
Well,
is.
never heard of it. New Zealand.
Yeah. Uh, apparently the cops were called because of a racist flag in someone's yard,
Uh,
and the cops showed up, and it was a Klingon flag from Star Trek.
from Star Trek. Yes,
Yeah.
people are thinking that's racist now too.
I looked at it and I was like, do they think it's some stupid swastika? And the wife's like, maybe they think it's a Klan hat. I was like, I don't know. Did they have the Klan in New Zealand? I don't know.
I don't think the Klan made it to New
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Zealand.
Like people just looking for a reason to be offended. Oh, speaking of that New Zealand ship that sank
Yeah.
was on autopilot when they did it too, and nobody knew. I read that article today. I didn't care enough to share it because There's a whole bunch of details that didn't really matter.
Autopilot's never a good thing.
Well, I mean, if you're in the middle of the open ocean and you just have to go west or east,
They
you
were
don't need that.
like they were like documenting the reef, you know.
Yeah,
They were like,
exactly. Exactly. It's like you're expecting to find stuff down here. You're looking for it, you dummies. All right. Well, this first one in Virginia, I
uh-huh.
actually brought something up about the same type of thing in West Virginia recently with an underground fire. What's going on?
Yeah, we had a underground fire at the Williamsburg outlet malls,
Oh, yeah.
and
All right.
the part of the parking lot caught on fire, and it took them days to like be able to dig out the plastic pipes and everything that was under there that was allowing the fire to continue.
Yeah, what I saw was 100 hours it took him to put this fire out.
Yeah.
Whew. And anyone out there, have you ever heard of historical Williamsburg? It's the same Williamsburg. It's the one that goes way back in history, not in Pennsylvania, which don't get me wrong, that one's been there too, but and I guess you just had some lady turn 100 out there.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, she over the last few decades, she actually provides Thanksgiving meals to people in the neighborhood that don't have any place to go, and she continued this tradition with the help of her family and friends, and it still goes on even though she's 100 years old now.
Another misfit Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. I read this article. What river are you taking from Michigan
He's
to
he came out of the Chesapeake Bay.
how do you get into the Chesapeake Bay from Michigan? Michigan doesn't touch the ocean.
Don't need to. You can take the Great Lakes.
The
The
Great Lakes don't
Great
touch the
Loop,
ocean.
the Great Loop has nothing to do with the ocean. It's all about going through the Mississippi River
Okay.
and looping around and coming up through the Chesapeake Bay and through Delaware and back into the Great Lakes. That's what the Great Loop is.
So this dude just came from Michigan and popped up in Portsmouth, apparently, right?
Yeah, he's making his way through the Chesapeake Bay right now.
Kind of cold, huh?
I
To
would
be in the
think
to
he's
be in the
wearing a
water.
wetsuit and he's wearing, yeah, he's I would not want to be out on the water this time of year.
How's the weather over there? Because it's been snowing here since Thanksgiving.
We haven't gotten any snow, but it did get down to like 29 degrees last night at night.
Oh, we haven't been up over 30 in a couple days. I'm also on the top of a mountain. I went down into town and it was 32. So I mean, just
You had to
going
go down
down.
for emergency supplies
I went and bought a revolver,
and more beer.
and beer and a valve stem puller so I could put slime in my dolly because I have purchased new furniture because I have in-laws coming
Okay.
over for Christmas. So yeah, that was
Okay.
fun. Bought a couch, a love seat, and a recliner. And man, just spent just about $1,000. So I'm pretty pleased with these Black Friday deals. All right. Over here, turns out West Virginia is the most obese state in the union. And all of these businesses that were their health insurance was covering people's like weight loss pills or injectables, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. They're trying to
Have
get it covered on by Medicare and Medicaid.
well, it's been taken off of the programs here in West Virginia, and the
Well, it's
poverty
super
levels.
expensive.
Yes, exactly. Now no one can afford it, and I'm like, eat less corn dogs.
I
I
don't
mean,
want to.
I know it sounds like an asshole thing to say, but if you genuinely want to lose weight,
Well,
ca-
RFK has come out and said that that will help, but it's not like been a magic bullet as of yet. So,
in terms of calories in and calories out,
mm-hmm.
yeah, some people hold on to calories more than others. But if you don't have calories going in and you're burning them off, you are going to lose weight. And now it's not easy to just go ahead and change up your whole diet, and that's a big thing. I've been looking at this carnivore diet,
Uh-huh.
and it's not about the meat that makes you lose
Yeah.
weight. The idea is you cut everything out of your diet, see how you feel, then slowly add things back in.
And don't they eat like sticks of butter and stuff like that too?
That is, I think, keto when it's meat and dairy. I'm looking at just eating meat for like 3 weeks and seeing, and then from there adding things in back into my diet like dairy, which I don't eat a lot of dairy anyway. I don't do well with it. But anyway,
No, you do better with almond.
oh good God, no.
You love the milk from the almonds.
No, how do you milk an almond? Those things need nipples. Uh, and the marching band here at West Virginia University is going to be leading Santa Claus in the New York parade. Oh, I'm sorry, in the Thanksgiving Day parade. So that already happened. My mistake.
Yeah,
I read an old
in the
article.
Macy's parade. Yeah, it would have.
I
That
didn't
would have
realize it was
been
West.
yesterday or Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, I kicked it on for my little girl, and she was like, yeah, I don't care. And just went. I was like, you don't want to watch the parade? But whatever.
Well, I mean, I've watched a little bit while I was cooking the turkeys in and out, and the parade's not really a parade anymore, There's not as many floats as there used to be. It's all about the performances now.
Yeah, and the pundits, what do you call them? They're the
Oh,
news anchors or whatever,
they're
telling their
useless.
yeah.
You froze up. I don't know if it's on my end or his end. I've got a decent internet connection on my end, I think. Let me send him a message here.
Oh,
Recording
I got
again.
it now. You froze up. All right.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
we
they're
had a
trying
little
to get these
snafu, and
Medicaid
we are
Medicare people
back live on tape.
Yeah, I had a big internet hiccup. But Biden is trying to put these anti-obesity drugs on Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah, so
This is
the
why
drug
I'm excited for.
manufacturers will
Oh,
make
good.
a ton of money.
Yeah, I know. Like, whatever happened to hating big pharma from the left? Um,
That's a right
yeah,
thing now.
yeah, I know, and I'm excited for RFK Jr. because um, if we stop putting all this garbage in our bodies,
It may
maybe we
help.
won't drugs to not gain weight. And then what? Okay, you lose the weight. You have to keep taking this medication the rest of
You
your
do
life,
for
or
the
do you
rest
have
of
to?
your life. Yeah, you can't stop it. That's a
Dear
little
God.
dirty little secret that nobody tells these people when they first start getting it, I take a medicine similar to this, but I take it for diabetes, so.
Diabetes and diabetes testing supplies.
Oh.
Did you see this paper Fauci published?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, tell me about it then.
He criticized Trump on coronavirus, and he continues to use the natural origin theory. Basically, the whole thing was a big waste of time and money and an embarrassment.
Um, wasn't Fauci the one who had the Wuhan lab doing
Yes, yes, he was
gain of
paying
function
them
research in
money
the
to
Wuhan
do the gain of functions things.
at the laboratory that was down the street from where the first case of this stuff was
Right.
reported?
Right near the wet market.
And I love it too, because if you say it was a wet market, then you're racist there because they're not eating fucking wild bats, you asshole, and you're a racist. And it's like, okay, so it came from the laboratory. Oh, how dare you? It came from the wet market. It's like, what the fuck do you, how do you want me, what do you want me to
Yeah.
believe? You know?
Tell me what I want. Tell me what you want me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Big brother, please explain to me what the right answer is.
Yeah.
Oh. And this next one. Did you see this New Mexico guy?
I had to put that in there. Yeah, he was awarded $412 million for medical a malpractice payout after a botched penile injection.
Um,
His penis wasn't big enough, so he went to get some plastic surgery done.
There's a risk. There's always a risk. And now the man lost his penis. And is $412 million gonna be worth no penis?
I could probably go without a penis for that kind of money.
I don't know, man. That kind of money you'd be using to pick up women.
Exactly. I don't need a penis if I got that kind of money.
No, you would, because you pick up all these women and now you're like, oh, you go to the Mediterranean, find all these gorgeous women in bathing suits from all over the world, and they want to come party with you on your yacht, but your junk won't work. Sad, sad day. I bet he'd rather pay $412 million to get his penis back. Now this next one here, I had trouble finding the article. I found it, but then you ended up sharing it before I did because I wanted to find a better one.
Uh-huh.
But the Trump administration has been targeted with bomb threats and SWAT attempts.
Yeah. Even
But
Matt Gates, who's not even part of it, was still targeted.
But all I'm seeing is that some people called in or emailed death threats to Democrat lawmakers and just signed it MAGA. Maybe it's all real. I don't know. But I've never heard of these left-wing places actually being swatted before. It's always been
it's always been right side,
middle or right wing, having the SWAT team show up at their house with rifles and shotguns. But yeah, the cabinet picks that they've been threatened. Actual bomb threats have been called in versus I don't like you, I'm gonna kill you, signed to MAGA. So like that lets you know that the news is still picking their side of this story and not telling you the whole thing,
Yeah.
But at least Biden says he has the FBI working on these threats. He's calling them hoax threats to lawmakers.
Of course.
So there you go. And looks like De Niro has announced his plans to leave the country.
Yeah, okay. I
But
believe when I actually see it actually leaves.
Didn't he do this last time too?
Yep.
And what did he say? He said, I get no respect. Dude, you've been calling people Nazis and Hitler for 10 years.
Yeah.
You're not showing any respect here.
No.
I'm pretty sure he went up to get an Academy Award or something. He's like, I have one thing to say. Fuck Donald
Fuck
Trump.
you.
And it's like, dude. Like, and then someone turns around and is like, hey, now how about you go fuck yourself? He's like, how dare you? How dare you use that language around me? It's like, oh, come on, you piece of dude. Like,
he can dish it out, but he can't take it.
Yeah. Like you did some good movies 20 years or 30 years ago.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, his comedies were all right.
Yeah.
But like, let's be real. He was a mafiosa, right?
Uh-huh.
Why can't I think
Godfather.
of Goodfellas? There we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, apparently Ellen's leaving, but and Ava Longoria left years ago.
A lot of these people, these rich people, have houses all over around the world, so this ain't nothing but a thing for them.
Yes. America Ferrara is rolling out, but I'm pretty sure she's got a place in Mexico. I'm not sure. While we're talking about the border, did you see the border czar show up on CNN?
No.
Oh. Well, the host was just like shocked when this dude told him that he'd be willing to jail.
Oh yeah, this article. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Denver mayor. No, governor or mayor? Yeah,
Mayor.
Denver must be mayor.
Mayor.
Yeah, it must be. For refusing to deport people. Isn't he the one who said he was going to set up a Tiananmen Square situation?
Yes, and he also said he actually said the Denver mayor actually said he'd be willing to go to jail. So the border czar is just taking the Denver mayor at his own words. It's like, well, you said you'd go, so you're gonna go.
Bluff. Yeah, call his bluff.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like, oh well, why can't we do this? Because it's against the law. You're stopping the federal government from enforcing federal law. This is aiding and abetting
Yeah.
At least. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And you see here that they're spending Denver, the city alone is spending $356 million on a migrant study.
Yeah. How much could that have helped the poor citizens living in Denver? Or even just repaired the roads and put in new street lights.
Exactly.
But no, we're gonna keep these illegal migrants here because
We want
who's
to
gonna
study
clean
them.
your toilet? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean they're playing with fire. Look what happened in California. I mean, how many got voted out? But 10 counties flipped red. California looks more red than it does blue.
Yep. Well,
The
it's always
issue
looked more
is
red than blue. So,
true, but the southern part of California is looking red because the Hispanic population is voting Trump.
okay.
And I love it because like, oh, it's only racist. It's like, dude, the people you're saying that we're here to protect you are going, hey, I'm a fucking citizen. I can't be deported. But these Dems don't realize that. They're still saying brown people. It's like, what the fuck do you think you guys are? Do they have any idea what they're saying?
No, in Latinx, the
Yeah, like
the Hispanic people love that term.
that didn't last long at all, and Wimixon didn't last long either. Yeah. And okay, I'm not sure exactly this. New York is talking about holding back taxes and leaving the union to block Trump. By
Yeah,
holding
and there
back tax,
apparently a bunch of states up in the Northeast are in talks with Canada about seceding from the U.S. and going to Canada.
yeah, I saw that. But you also have parts of California and Illinois looking to become Democrat. I know Western Maryland is looking to break off of Maryland to become part of West Virginia.
Well, in the northern part of California,
Hmm.
and wants to be its own state, or it would rather be with a more yeah, it wants to be its own state. It can't go to Oregon. Oregon ain't gonna help them any. And then the western part of Oregon and the western part of Washington State want to be their own state too, or they want to join Idaho because their beliefs fall in line more with the people from Idaho than they do with the people that run the state.
Well, it's funny because that dude Sean that I mentioned, I brought this up to him, and he's like, "Oh, you can't do that anyway. It's illegal. It's never happened in the history of the country." And I was like,
Actually, it
"Okay."
has.
I was like, Maine used to be part of Massachusetts. That happened
West
long.
Virginia,
Yep, West Virginia broke off from Virginia in the Civil War. North Carolina, South Carolina, North Dakota, South Dakota. I was like, there's tons of precedent
yeah,
for borders to move.
yeah.
But the problem is these folks do zero reading. They hear something from someone else and they
Hmm.
regurgitate it, and they don't just Google this shit.
Yeah.
It's like maybe if just like the same thing when you have these people moving out of liberal California into Texas, and then they go and vote the same way and wonder why the same bullshit's happening in Texas. It's like no, it's your policies that you keep voting for that are causing the problems you don't like. The fact that you don't like that there's 50% of the people in your community don't speak English and just came across the border might have something to do with the fact that you keep voting to let them in here
Yeah.
and you're paying them out of your pocket to do it.
Right.
I can't believe everything, my taxes are so high. It's like, well, yeah, it's because you're supporting an entire group of people instead of your own family. Criminy. And again, this is why I like the idea of charity instead of taxes. But the problem is your average person who votes Democrat doesn't give to charity.
No.
They say taxes are good enough. Like no, no,
I mean, you
no.
looked at we can see the tax filings of the previous Democrat presidents, and they are not all about charity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, exactly. And it's like, especially as president of the United States, you get what 400K a year. You have a couple bucks to throw at charity. And meanwhile, Trump's given more to charity in a single day than these guys are giving in a year, but you're upset you can't see his tax records. And I personally, I don't think we should be. Don't get me wrong. If the president wants to show me his tax returns, I'll have a look, but I don't see that as a deal breaker to
No,
vote.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
either. Yeah, it should be optional. I mean, everybody freaked out when Trump wouldn't show his tax records last time around. I
He's also
predict
been
he
under.
will not. He's not going to show them again this time around.
No, he's still under IRS audit.
Now, he'll always be under IRS audit until the day he dies.
Well, any billionaire is. They're always scrutinizing a billionaire's monies. Like maybe you owe us more money.
Yeah.
So, reminds me, I watched a video today of this woman going nuts about how all the billionaires support Trump, and I was like, we've talked about this on the show over and over again.
Yes, we have.
These folks just don't look around. Is it that they don't realize that all these musicians that they love so much are billionaires?
No, they don't get it.
Like, I hate billionaires. Like, well, you better stop buying those Beyonce records and going to the Beyonce shows, you know? Oh, all right. And it turns out, according to internal polls from the Democrat campaign, never once in the entire time Harris is running was she ahead of Trump.
Yeah, I thought that. It's crazy. But
Uh,
man, the mainstream media made it neck and neck, neck and neck. And that's all about the advertising dollars.
well, and that's why you had so many people on the left coming up like, he's going to win all the, she's going to win all the swing states. She's going to take Iowa. She's going to take Florida. It's like, okay. And it's the whole touch grass thing. Go talk to real people instead of running off to hide in your blue sky, which, by the way, I kept typing in Blue Origin trying to find that story. I had heard it and I kept typing in Blue Origin. I was like, why can't I was like, oh, that's a space program.
Yeah, yeah.
Same guy though, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, but yeah, she kept her own party officials in the dark about the polling, but none of these people had any idea what was going on. They just, and that's the big thing that I've noticed with the Democrat Party is they did not. I haven't seen them put out a single policy in at least 10 years. All they do is tell you that everyone else is voting this way. You don't want to be on the wrong side of history.
Right.
I'm sure you noticed that, right? That how many times did you hear the wrong side of history?
All the time.
Yeah, and it's like I don't care what everyone else is voting. Like my mom taught me a long time ago. Like if everyone's jumping off a bridge, I'm not just gonna jump off the bridge too. I'm gonna have a good look at what's going on
Yeah.
and decide if I want to bungee jump or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Brian, you're updating that Google Doc right now.
I felt like it.
Yeah, of course you do.
I didn't do anything
Feder-
to the Google Doc. You already had the article in there. I just added it to the thing. So
oh, my mistake. I thought I put everything in there. And
you did.
Fetterman.
That was about the West Virginia marching band was the last article.
Oh, really? Because that's where that showed up after you froze up. Fetterman is still, man, like I'm liking this guy more and more every time he talks.
I am too.
Now he's
We
saying
talked
that
a lot of shit about him when he beat Dr. Oz, but he seems to be going more common sense route, than follow party line route.
well, especially in Pennsylvania where the vote could go either way, you
Yeah.
know?
Uh-huh.
But now, yeah, he's saying like you lost the male votes because you kept insulting them. Like
Yeah.
you had everyone telling them that the women would rather come across a bear in the woods than a man. Like you want to know why you didn't get the male vote? Go ask the bear. Toxic masculinity. And then like, oh my God, they put Dylan Mulvaney in a beer
Yeah.
commercial that was for blue collar working men, Bud Light.
Bud Light still hasn't recovered from that.
No, they haven't. And that used to be the beer of the guy who like finished welding or plumbing all day,
Yeah.
bloody fingers, burns on his
I mean,
arms.
a lot of people still drink it, because it's probably back to being number one in the States, but
It's not.
market share is not the same on it as it used to be. People,
No, and I took a risk and invested in what Anheuser-Busch something something uh maybe 6-8 months ago, thinking it was going to rebound, and it has not. Just don't get me wrong, it's up a little bit, but I really thought they would have been able to recover from this, which has me concerned about Boeing. But I did see Boeing had like a 1.99 point increase this week. So maybe they're starting to pull their self out of this hole. I don't know.
Well, they're third in the country for beer sales as of July. So
There you go. Still not number one. I don't know where Miller Lite is, but I always like Miller Lite better anyway for a cheap beer, you know?
I have to.
Um,
It's Modella. Miller Lite is behind Coors Light.
well,
Coors Light is
Modella,
number 5, and Miller Lite is number 6. You're gonna love this since I got these stupid poll up here now. So it's Modelo,
which
Mick
is the same
Ultra,
company.
Bud Light, Corona Extra, Corona, Coors Light, Miller Lite, Budweiser, Busch Light, Natural Light, and Miller High Life. Number 10.
High Life.
It made the
I will say,
charts.
Budweiser is an agreeable cheap beer in terms of the taste of it. Like if I'm at a party and there's Budweiser in the cooler,
You're
I
gonna
would
grab
have
it.
had one before this whole thing went down, no problem. Wasn't gonna drink the Bud Light, never cared for it. I would go buy beer and you know what I mean, put it in the cooler.
Uh-huh.
But like a Budweiser, the Bud Heavies, I was like, pretty good actually. You know, if you like cheap beer,
Yeah.
which I'm frustrated at myself. I was just in Craigsville. It's a major city, and I could have bought Pumpkinhead.
You
Maybe
found
not
it?
at this point. No, no, I'm saying I probably could have gone looking for it, or at least got some Cold Snap or something, you know. But I'm dealing with what's at the gas station in an unincorporated part of the county, you know.
I bought a 36 pack at BJ's today, so
36 pack of what?
uh, Miller Lite. They'll
I
keep
didn't know
me
they made
going
it.
for a while.
I didn't know they made a 36 pack.
If you go to the club stores,
Mm. Yeah, I used to have a not Sam's Club, BJ's wholesale club card.
that's what I got.
I haven't seen a BJ's down here at all.
You probably
I don't know.
got Costco or Sam's Club.
There's a Costco around somewhere. I didn't know that was a club store.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I've had a lot of people like, oh, you have to pay $50 for a BJ's membership. I was like, yeah, you go twice and you get
Yeah.
that $50 back. You know what I mean? It's like you
Yeah.
go there, you buy all your meat for the next 3 months.
I buy all my toilet paper and paper products and paper plates there, you know?
Well, that's why I'm digging having a house that's too big, and I got this giant freezer. I go buy 6 pounds of beef at a time,
Hmm.
and boom, put it in the freezer. Never let it go empty. So if shit does hit the fan, I at least have a couple
Me.
months worth of food between my freezer of good stuff and then my pantry where I got like noodles and rice and everything else, you know.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I must have 20 pounds of vegetables in that freezer.
So Demsphere Harris is continuing to erode the fundraising trust. I don't even know what that means.
She's eroding the trust through continuous fundraising
She's still
because
fundraising? Is
she
she
has to
trying to
pay
pay
out.
off her campaign debts now with
That,
fundraising?
well, that's a theory, but they did say that at least part of this was going to help pay for the recount. And I was like,
What
who has to pay?
recount?
Well, they want to do a recount, which is hilarious because didn't they put Trump on trial for the same thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And you point that out. It's not the same.
And
I
it's a
don't.
little late for a recount. I mean, on just January 20th, he's going to be inaugurated. So this is kind of like January 6th all over again.
Well, California still hasn't finished counting their damn votes for what was it, Congress or Senate?
Both.
This is ridiculous. How could you have not? How did you
It's
count the
the state of
presidential?
Florida had every election decided before we went to bed that night.
Yes, but how did they manage to count all the presidential votes and not everyone else down ticket at the same time?
They're saying they're too close, so they got to go do automatic recounts and stuff like. I don't know. California's crazy. They're like 100% mail-in ballot, and that's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
They don't have machines that thousands of people are walking to on election day or the month before election day and actually feeding their ballots into. Some idiot is sorting through tons of mail-in ballots because somewhere along the line, the West Coast states of Washington State, Oregon, and California all decided they'd save a ton of money by getting rid of election day and going to mail-in ballots.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been paying people to count the same votes over and over and over again? It's ridiculous. And by the way,
We don't
notice.
have an election season after the election day. It's an election day, you know. Everything should be counted within 48 hours max after election day. If your state can't figure that out, you need to find a state that does it on a regular basis and find out what the fuck they're doing and start copying it.
Yeah. Well, here's a fun little fact. Have a look at all the states that have mail-in voting, 100% mail-in voting, like Massachusetts, Maine,
Uh-huh.
Connecticut, Rhode Island, California, Illinois, Hawaii. And then have a look at all the states that the Democrats won. Massachusetts, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Illinois,
Right.
California, Hawaii. Hmm. And then you had that one lady in Pennsylvania, like, I'm gonna count the illegal votes anyway. I don't care if I go to jail. And they're like,
Yeah.
you're gonna go. Then they say you're gonna go to jail. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna count them. I was full of shit. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Well, yeah, but she was saying stuff like, oh well, apparently the law doesn't matter anyway. Okay. Oh, okay. But yeah,
And
I was
that's
just
the
saying.
deal, you know, because if there's a Dem in office, laws really don't matter. But now that Trump's coming back, maybe laws do matter.
Yeah, they tried to put Trump on trial for his classified documents, and they took the Supreme Court to shut that down. But they were going to just ignore that
If
Biden
he
did
wouldn't have
literally.
won the election, he would be going. He would be looking at spending the rest of his life in some kind of incarceration.
Well, that's hilarious
Because
too, because I
that's
keep,
what their whole goal was, to lock him up, lock him up.
yeah, make an example out of him. Um, yeah, and I keep hearing how Trump's never going to leave office. I'm like, the dude's going to be 84 when his term's up. How old do you think
He
he's going to
left
live to
office
be?
the last time. He actually
Yeah,
left the day before our inauguration day. Everybody made a big stink about that, you know, because,
he
you
did stick
know,
around.
he will
Yeah,
leave office again when his 4 years are up, you know.
he's going to be 80. He might die of natural causes before his term is up.
I doubt it. He's in better health than his McDonald's diet seems to be doing him well, you know. He's in better health than President Biden.
Yeah, that concerns me. Maybe I should start eating more McDonald's. That guy, that guy has more energy than a meth addict.
Well, the
Uh,
McRib's coming back.
I heard that. I was actually near a McDonald's yesterday when I bought my
December
furniture.
4th is the rumor I'm hearing. Even though all the signs are up for it now, you can't order it. It doesn't show up on the
Mm.
kiosk and stuff.
Burger King is bringing back their fried pickle fries or whatever they are.
Yeah, they got it on a burger now. They got it on a Whopper. They got a Whopper with fried pickles on it.
Yeah, with like ranch dressing and something else.
Uh-huh.
I went to BK yesterday because I
I
do
want to
love me
try
a little.
the sweet maple bacon Whopper.
It looked good, but I went with
Traditional?
the Big King of the BK King.
Okay.
So I think it's two patties,
Yeah,
bacon,
it is.
ketchup, and mayonnaise. And oh man, it's good. Because last time I went there, they screwed up my order, and I was frustrated because I only get to Burger King like once every couple months.
Hmm.
Actually, I say that Burger King, any fast food,
Right.
and hey, let's hit up BK while we're here.
Yeah.
And I got the wrong order, and I was just like, oh motherfucker. And I went to
That's
Taco
why you always
Bell.
got to check your order before you leave the premises.
Well, we ate there anyway, but I'd rather just wipe off the topping I don't like. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well, if
Than have
you eat
someone
there,
spit
you
on my
definitely get
burger.
it corrected for free. You just gotta
Yeah, and then they spit
give
on your
them.
food.
No, they don't.
Okay. Man, I went to Taco Bell a month ago and I got soft shell tacos. I was so excited. And I sure just got hard shell tacos. It was so terrible that they crunched and cracked.
Huh.
I was like, what the hell is this?
I like it because they're doing the decades thing right now. So the
So I
Mexican
need a
melt's
decade.
back. All kinds of shit is back on the menu that hasn't been there forever.
Doesn't mean you have to give me a decade old tortilla on my
True,
taco.
true. You got that point. Yeah, that's right, you know, but
Uh,
maybe more people just need to eat at Taco Bell in West Virginia. so they can go through their products faster.
Possibly. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Like I said, I only get to fast food like once a month, every other month,
Right.
and we rotate through. The KFC I got was really good. We got a bucket of chicken. Like, how do you go
Okay.
wrong with that?
Yeah.
This dude in California, he's
Uh-huh.
now that they've been still counting
Counting
the
and
vote.
counting and counting.
Yeah, counting and counting and counting. All of a sudden, he went from losing to a knife edge lead, and now it's expanding to like a
Of
runaway
course it
lead.
is. Give the Dems enough time, they'll figure it out and be able to get the votes in.
Give me a month, I'll find the votes. Don't worry. This next one I almost shared last week, but I didn't think it was pertinent enough to be worth our time because we had a long list. A little shorter today, and it's been an extra week. You shared this, Brian. Have you seen anyone doing the Trump shimmy?
Yes, I have.
I love it watching these athletes like score a touchdown and
And
then do
people are
the
starting to freak out. It's like, oh, they can't do that. They can't do that. It's just people dancing and celebrating that has somehow been correlated with Trump. It's
oh, they're
like,
definitely doing the Trump dance. And you know the guy, you know it when you see the person who's familiar with what's going on because they do the head tilt. He tilts his head to the side, does the arms back and forth to the front. Why are people saying you can't do this? Like,
because it's a Republican Democrat thing. You can't support
so that
Trump if you're,
you
you're,
can't be, they don't
you
want their
know,
athletes political, is what you're telling me.
yeah,
But they can kneel for the anthem.
yes.
Okay, okay. Just making sure I understand where the lines are here.
There
Okay.
are no lies. They make it up as they go.
They really do. And thank you for that excellent segue into Cenk Uygur. You probably don't know this name.
No, I don't.
He's one of the Young Turks, one of the
Okay.
founding members. I know I keep bringing up the Young Turks on the show, hoping you'll check them out one day, but you never will.
I don't do YouTube like you do.
Uh,
Do they have an actual podcast?
I think they do. I think it's just called the TYT, probably what you'll find it under, but maybe the Young Turks.
Because
Cenk,
that's what I do. I do podcasts. I don't do video pack things. So
yeah, I find
I
more
don't want
stuff
to
I
go to
like.
YouTube for my podcast either. So
See, that's what I do. I just don't watch the video necessarily. But Cenk is saying he has optimism for this Trump win, and that like the MAGA movement's not his mortal enemy, and he's going on and on how these people aren't necessarily evil, and I can't believe everyone's saying this. 3 months ago, he was calling everyone Nazis and calling Trump Hitler, worse than Hitler. This is another example of the left who was so outspoken, certain that they were right and ahead of the curve, and they find out they're wrong and immediately, whoops, my bad, I'm on the other side now. Like you see that SNL sketch when they actually brought that up, and they're like, "We just want to let you know, Mr. President Trump, that we've been on your side the whole time." Like, yeah, exactly. Covering your own ass. I mean, how many times can you call someone a Nazi before they're not going to accept your apology? You know?
yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah, and I didn't recognize his name. This former congressman for the Democrat Party said the same thing we've been saying that the Dems need a rebranding. Uh, you can't just keep calling people terrible names and expecting them to vote for you. You're not
No,
going to shame people into voting for your party right now.
nope.
Uh, I mean, I can't fat shame. I can't slut shame. I can't any of this shame. But apparently, it was okay forever to politically shame people. Uh, you tell me that, well, your politics are your choice. Like, yeah, being a slut's your choice too. And I don't agree with your choices, but apparently I'm not allowed to say that. Uh, and you know what? The 20-year-old dudes love sluts. Of course they do. But what all of a sudden you got these OnlyFans broads with like a 300 body count, wondering why they can't find a husband when they're 35. It's like because you're 35 and you banged 300 people, and nobody wants to have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Nobody does. Dear God, who the example of the throwing a hot dog down the hallway thing. You know what I mean?
Well, some of these OnlyFans people are coming out saying they're making billions of dollars a year just on OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's the thing. You keep hearing about these ones that are making $100,000 a year,
I
six hundred
know it's
thousand
not
a
the
year.
average.
Well, yeah, they're first of all, most of these women are full of shit.
Right.
They're trying to justify what they're doing, and most people go on and try something like that. They make about $3.85, and now the pictures of them blowing some random dude is all over the internet forever. So, when you try to start a real relationship and get married and they go ahead and Google your name, that's what shows up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Into the war stuff.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
Well, we talked about this briefly earlier, where Netanyahu does support an Israel Hezbollah ceasefire deal that Biden supposedly whipped into shape at the
yeah.
last minute.
Biden had nothing to do with it. It's Trump. Biden may have been the person in office, but like just a couple weeks ago, I believe we were talking about how Netanyahu had no interest in Biden having anything to do with this, besides like giving him money. Uh, and at the same time, Biden was just up in Nantucket, Massachusetts, for Thanksgiving. Went Black Friday shopping and
Uh-huh.
purchased this very anti-Semitic book about the 100-Year War in Palestine. And apparently they lost a bunch of votes because they were supporting Israel. I'm like, Trump supports Israel more, and
Well, we talked
Biden,
about this on the show for decades, It's like, why do all the Jews in New York City and the other Jewish compensated areas in the country go towards the Dems? Why? Why do the
that's
blacks
the
go
question.
vote Dems,
Well, a lot of folks are waking up from that because, well, just like the whole Biden. If you don't know if you should vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Right. That
And
really
it's
backfired this time around,
the Hispanic vote. Trump got more Hispanic votes this time than the last two times.
And he got more black male votes this time around than he did the last two times.
Uh-huh. I believe the only group that voted Harris more was white men and white women. And white men came in after the fact because they kept
I thought it
counting
was
for so
black
long.
females were one of her main constituents.
Main constituents, but more of them didn't vote than have voted before. It was the same, however many millions of voters. They may have supported her, but didn't go out and pull the lever. And plus, let's be real here. How many people of color in this country and women voted Trump, but still aren't going to admit it because they don't want to be cast out like all these other folks? You don't think any? Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm here.
Oh, I thought I froze up again because you weren't even
No, I
here.
was like dazed and confused. I have been smoking all day.
I'm waiting for that edible to kick in. I mean, I don't have any edibles, because I went
No,
out and bought a gun today.
there you go. You can't do the two at the same time.
Now, definitely don't be handling a gun if you've been touching any kind of drug at all besides like caffeine
Right.
or nicotine.
Well, thank God Michael Moore's back on the scene.
You know,
Life is so
I
much
never know what
better
to think
without
of this.
Michael Moore commenting on shit.
I know, and he used to actually like be a decent director, but then he like went nuts. But he predicted Trump winning in 16. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, well,
Maybe not.
now he's saying that Senate Dems are should be known as genocide arms dealers. I don't know what that he wants, what that he's meaning by that, but
Israel. he's saying that, oh, we're giving all this money to Israel to fight a war. Like, dude, we have given Ukraine more money in the last 3 years to fight a war than we've given to Ukraine since it's been formed.
It's Israel. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ukraine's got a ton more money than Israel will ever see.
yeah, and it's
And
like,
at least in Israel, you can kind of account where the money goes and how it's spent. Good luck trying to figure that out in Ukraine.
oh, Ukraine has been corrupt since it was formed after the collapse of the Soviet Union. What was that,
Oh,
90?
since when Joe Biden, as vice president, went there and told him, get rid of the prosecutor prosecuting my son, or you won't get
Before
any
that,
federal aid.
before that, that's how he got away with it. But yeah, what was it, 94 or 90, 96? 94, I think, when the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah, something like that.
That was when Ukraine was formed, and it literally means borderland. That's what Ukraine means. Uh, but I'm going to skip down a little bit and just bring up the Russia stuff because I already started talking about it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a borderland between like the West and Russia, like NATO, basically. And
Uh,
Zelensky's saying the only way to end this hot war is to join NATO. You think,
that's only going to make matters worse. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not in favor of Ukraine joining NATO.
I'm not in favor of Ukraine in general. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see them nuked by Russia. I don't want to see them even at war with Russia. The only reason why they haven't lost this war yet is because of all the Western help they're getting.
Right?
Uh, but I don't see why this is our conflict.
It's not. That's my gripe. It's not our conflict.
And neither is Israel, honestly. Like, are we going to support Israel in perpetuity? Or are we finally going
Yes.
to say, you know what, we're done. It's time for you guys to stand on your own two legs.
No, I think we'll support them in perpetuity because everybody else in the world's against them.
Egypt seems to get along with Israel pretty well, actually. But I mean, Egypt's not sending billions of dollars to foreign nations either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh, God. Yeah, and the Ukrainians just drone. I need to come up with a drone stroke doesn't sound right, does it? That uh, used a series of drone strikes at for a naval base of Russian naval base, and was it Dagestan?
Yeah.
Dagestan? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure where this is, but I'm assuming it's part of Russia that borders the ocean, which isn't much of it, honestly.
No,
Especially near
that's
Ukraine.
why Russia did what they did, you know. They wanted
Warm
an
water
ocean
access
port.
port.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Their eastern border with the Pacific Ocean is so far north. It's like the actual ocean freezes. And for anyone who says that doesn't happen unless you're in the Arctic, first of all, the Arctic Circle covers a lot of Russia.
Yep.
And and I was in Massachusetts several years ago when the ocean fucking froze. Okay, the Boston Harbor froze, and
Well,
it was
Boston Harbor isn't really the ocean.
though it stays warmer in the harbor,
Right.
and that froze. And it was actually that year I boiled a pot of water in my kitchen and
Mhm.
went outside in like negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, tossed the boiling water in the air, and it snowed down. It was really cool to turn from a gas and because it instantly flashed to gas when it's not in the pot
Did you get a
anymore.
video?
I did, but that was years ago. I even put it on Facebook. But yeah, then the steam sublimated into a solid and snowed down to the ground. I was like, that is so cool. But anyway, apparently China and Russia have been running drills and training exercises. Unfortunately, they've been doing it over the sovereign airspace of South
South
Korea.
Korea.
Yeah, who went and scrambled some fighter jets. Uh, and I don't like that they keep using this term scramble because they're not using it properly.
No.
And I don't care to get into military jargon too deeply on this show. But the way these folks are trying to use it is saying like they weren't ready and they had to run around and get aircraft up very quickly to like have a look what's going on. But
Right.
scramble also involves an interception and a communication
Yeah.
with the not just get aircraft off the ground. All right. Oh, yeah. While we're on drones, you saw this article. I think you read the same article as me at the same time because
Probably.
I was in the process of sharing it when it popped into the thing from you. But tell me what happened in the UK with the US base is
What happened in Langley recently, like last
same
year here?
thing.
Yeah.
We talked about it on this show too. Well, I guess um, some drones were spotted over the US bases in the UK, and it would appear as though they are not hobbyist aircraft. So they're probably taking fucking pictures.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. If they're not like the people with the hobby of drones, they're definitely more advanced drones and they've got more sophisticated technology on them.
Yeah. Um, why aren't we shooting these things down?
We should be.
Because maybe they're not just taking pictures. They're well at the same time they're testing the response.
Yeah.
How long does it take them to react? What do
Uh-huh.
they do? Okay, you took the drone down. We lost $600. Woohoo! You know, but it took you 15 minutes to get this thing out. What if the thing had a weapon on it? You just wait for it to deploy its payload.
So apparently, the repeat offender says, "Did we see that Cash Patel is going to be the new FBI director? Christopher
No
Wray is
shit.
gone."
No shit. I was actually hoping for this, and I was a little disappointed in what it wasn't Patel.
He's saying it is Patel now.
All right. He's going to change things. Is the best way I can put this, especially with all the shit he had with the FBI.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
anybody that Trump gets in office this time around is going to change things. Because that's what people elected Trump for this time around was, you know, change.
yeah, trick, just like Obama,
He
right?
said it was just announced like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, well, that'll explain why we've been at this for an hour, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm excited about this news. Thank you, repeat offender, for the live update. That was awesome. You've
Yep, there it
excited me.
is. It's go to foxnews.com. It's the number one article. President-elect Trump makes reform-minded pick for new FBI directory.
Oh, that's gonna piss off the Democrats. That's gonna piss them off worse than Matt Gaetz. And actually, this is what I thought the Matt Gaetz thing was. I thought that was gonna be the big ask, and then when
Mm-hmm.
he is turned down, they'll accept someone else that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yep,
Like,
yep,
well,
yep.
like a compromise.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all right, all right. I do want to bring up one more thing from the war, and it's about the Syrian rebels in Aleppo that are in this 3 days into an offensive. And I'm only even bringing this up because this is why was it Johnson for the Libertarian Party in 16 did worse than usual was because they asked him what he thought about Aleppo and he asked what is Aleppo.
Right. He didn't have a clue where it was at.
Well, he didn't even know it was a place.
No.
And let's be real, how many people vote could tell you Aleppo is a place, let alone where it is?
It's in Syria, but yeah, nobody.
Capital city, I believe.
It's where? Capital City?
I believe it's the capital city.
Yeah. Not, I would say you could probably count the number of people on one hand that know where Aleppo is, know
Yeah,
what country Aleppo's in. Not even know where it's at, just know what country it's part of.
I wouldn't be able to find Aleppo if my life depended on it, and I'm pretty good
I
with
just
my
know it's in
geography.
Syria.
Hey, I'm pretty good with my geography, but I'm gonna have to spend a good minute looking to find Syria on the map. You know what I mean? It's like it borders Israel, and I know where Israel is. I'm pretty sure it's on the southwest side, but I'm not certain because I think the eastern side you have Iran and Iraq, right, and Lebanon up north. Uh, it's been so long since I've actually looked at a map of the region. Uh, but the fact that I can name countries that border Syria is better than your average person. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
exactly.
Oh, all right. Well, here's the big deal, I think. Besides the wars in the world, I think the big deal we have with Trump coming into office is going to be the taxes that happen in the United States. Um, Brian leaves as we come into the first article that he shared about this, and I only read half of it, but I'll skip that one and come back. Apparently, the Biden administration spent $267 million of tax dollars on misinformation projects to battle the vaccine skepticism, which almost all of it turned out to be accurate. The skepticism in terms of the myocarditis, the pericarditis, the fact that it doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, it doesn't prevent you from spreading COVID. The best it could do was make you less sick if you did contract this virus. And then you need dose after dose after dose. Uh, Same idea as a flu shot, but it's less effective. I guess I don't know if people realize coronavirus is a type of virus. It's basically the shape of the virus and how it operates. There's very many variations of the coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus. We used to actually call it that in high school. Like, oh, I got a touch of the coronavirus. And then all of a sudden, the coronavirus became like this death disease where which is why people were so worried about it, maybe not your average person, but your medical expert was worried about it because the common cold is so contagious.
Right.
And people don't realize that when they hear coronavirus, they think of like COVID-19, not a coronavirus. It's like the difference between a bear and a wounded grizzly bear protecting her cubs.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one you have up here? The $4.6 trillion brawl over Trump's tax cuts.
Well, the tax cuts that were put in place when Trump was in office before are sunsetting soon.
Okay, so they're thinking that Trump can't renew them.
Well, that's what the brawl is going to be about, is renewing them.
Well, okay. Well, I tell you what's going to happen. Not anyone. Most of these Republican congressmen and senators that don't vote the same way are going to lose their seat in office next time.
Yeah, I would say 9 out of 10 of them will.
Yeah, you got some areas where they picked the Republican because they wanted to check on their Democrat other thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But not all states split the ticket, and especially not all states, but definitely not
Most
all
states
people.
don't. Most states don't split the ticket. Massachusetts is one of the few that used to. I don't even think they do it anymore.
They got a Democrat governor and mayor in Boston. By the way, that was supposed to be a Massachusetts article that I forgot to do this week. Massachusetts is doing the same thing as New York and Denver in terms of actively obstructing Trump from deporting illegal migrants. There's more to it, but Michelle Wu, I believe her name, is the mayor of Boston. Sorry, I can't remember. I keep wanting to say Hochul for the governor, but that's New York.
Yeah, that's New York.
Yeah. Can't remember the Massachusetts governor's name. That's going to drive me nuts for a while. But Trump has been threatening these tariffs. He threatened a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico until they fix this border issue.
Mara Healy.
Mara Healy, thank you.
Another wonderful female name.
Mara. You don't hear that one often.
No.
That sounds like a nickname for Maureen.
Yep.
But in light of this threat of the giant tariff, Mexico has already said that they're going to do something about the people crossing through Mexico to get to the United States. And
Well, Trump
Trudeau,
said that was definitely going to happen, and then the Mexican president, new female president, came out and said she didn't agree to anything. So,
yeah, I saw that. So we'll see what happens. Uh, I think Mexico is going to regret a 25% tariff on them. Because here's the thing, this is Trump's negotiation. He's saying, we're going to do this unless you do this.
right.
So, like, why don't you just not let people cross through your country to come into this other country?
Mm-hmm.
Because Mexico makes almost all of its money selling to the United States. And a lot of that is produce.
Well, a little bit of tourism in there too.
And some tourism, yes. And there's no tariff on tourism, obviously. But it's been a while. But remember in the 80s, used to have made in Mexico written on everything. Now it's made in China.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing this article that said, get ready to see $5 avocados. And I was like, how are you going to get to $5 avocados? Because an avocado, I looked it up, is 71 cents right now. You put a 25% tariff on 71 cents.
That's
It's
still not
less,
$5.
it's still less than 9.
Math is not most people's strong suit. You froze up again. You froze up again. You froze up again. So we got the Biden administration spent $267 million on misinformation projects to battle vaccine skepticism. So, they came up with this brilliant plan that, we got to keep the vaccine safe and keep them real. And by doing that, they spent $267 million on proving vaccines were real. So, and worth the effort that they put into them.
Timing.
If you just did what you had to do in the first place, we wouldn't have to prove that vaccines are real. COVID vaccine really shit the bed. Trump's to blame for that just as much as Biden is. And I'm not afraid to say it. And because of that, people don't trust the government anymore, and they're not going to get all the vaccines that they think they need to get. I've never had the COVID vaccine. I'm never going to get it. Never will. I don't even get the flu anymore.
I have only got the flu shot when I was
I
enlisted
got
in the
it
Navy.
one
Because I was
year
required.
when I was out.
No, don't get me wrong. I had the MMR shot. And I had all the childhood vaccines to prevent against polio. Actually, I say that I didn't get a polio shot.
I don't have the mark on my arm, so apparently I didn't get it either. So,
My father's got that circle pattern, but he
mm-hmm.
got that when he joined the Navy.
Yeah.
And he used the air gun and do them all at once. Which, by the way, apparently MIT, I read an article, almost shared it to the health thing. MIT has this new way to do injectable vaccines with a burst of air that just goes through the skin. I was like, they were doing that in the 60s.
That ain't new.
That is not new at
The
all.
Navy's been doing that since I joined boot camp in '87.
That's the thing. They've been doing that since the 60s.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the issue was if you flinched, it would rip your arm apart. So maybe that they fixed that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know what I missed when my internet crashed again for a minute.
I jumped up to the I didn't know where we really were, so I went to the misinformation on the vaccine skepticism.
Oh, we already did that one. That's when you were peeing.
Okay. Well, we covered again.
Well, we got your point of view this time.
Yep.
But yeah, we were talking about Trudeau and the tariffs. Well,
All right.
the tariffs in general and how Trudeau met with Trump in Mar-a-Lago about this threat.
A lot of people are meeting with Trump in Mar-a-Lago lately.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be the most powerful man in the world.
It's the Southern White House again.
I wouldn't call it that.
That's what they called it the first term.
Yeah, and I didn't like it then either.
And
Now,
Donald Trump's not happy with the BRICS countries either.
yeah, holy shit,
He's talking
this
about
one.
100% tariffs on them.
Yeah, that's if they try to displace the US dollar as the world
Well,
reserve
they've been trying
currency.
it for a while, you know.
Well, yeah, he's
Oil
saying knock it
standard
off.
is not oil. It can be bought in Russian rubles now. It doesn't have to be all
Oh,
spent on bought with American dollars.
I doubt Saudi Arabia will take the ruble. Uh, Ruble has taken another crash recently, last couple days.
Yeah, I know.
Less than a half a penny a piece. And when this war started,
I believe the
when one,
article's in here someplace.
yes, it is somewhere. When or maybe not. Maybe we didn't share the article. We both read the same article.
I know. I definitely read the article. I thought I shared it.
I thought I did too, but apparently neither one of us did. But when this war started in Ukraine, remember you and I were talking like it's time to get ready to invest in rubles, buy a shit ton of rubles because it's going to take a dump. Buy it when it's cheap, wait for it, the war to end, come back up. But then they made it illegal to trade in Russian currency here. It took another dive. One way or the other, Russia's coming out of this an existing nation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're
I
not. Yeah, I agree with that.
they're not getting wiped off the map.
No.
Their currency is going to become worth more money. How do I get to my hands on some of this currency while it's dirt cheap?
You
If I
tried
can,
to buy it last time around.
I know they made it illegal, but apparently I can trade a chicken pot pie for like 1,000,000 rubles right now. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they abandoned the currency system and started a new one, like Zimbabwe did after their hyperinflation crisis.
The $1 trillion bill.
$100 trillion bill. Now
So
I'm still mad about that, dude. I can't believe I lost that thing. I got it for like $4 or something. That now they want like $50 because it's a historic thing.
what do you think about Megyn Kelly saying that we should stop funding the NPR? NPR says we're not. The government's not funding them.
Okay, I thought we should stop funding NPR a while ago because they've been very biased. I don't mind having the federal government paying, putting the bill to put out a news organization, but they haven't been putting out news since 9/11, 2001. I'm surprised it took Megyn Kelly
Yeah,
this long.
I don't mind money being spent if it's not from a political bias, but NPR and PBS have left that world. I mean, PBS was Sesame Street and the Electric Company. That's
I
what.
wa I used to watch PBS when I was a kid for Square One. It was a math TV show with
Okay.
detectives.
See, when I was growing
Uh,
up, it was Sesame
Carmen
Street and the Electric
Sandiego.
Company. So,
Yeah, Sesame Street. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
yeah.
I used to actually watch PBS. Now, Jesus Christ, I'd rather watch public access television, which I don't think exists anymore.
Is that still a thing? Can
I
you get
don't know,
that?
but I did watch this one show on public access back when I was growing up. It was on late at night, and he reviewed movies.
That's when most public access shows are on late at night.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this dude reviewed movies, but I was like 16, and he was always reviewing movies with nudity in them, like
Oh,
Bordello
that's
of
why
Blood.
you were watching.
Yeah, like Bordello of Blood.
You were watching it for the nudity.
Because I was 16.
Exactly.
Uh, oh man. And it was funny because actually, I remember when I was in Hampton. I remember driving past the public access thing. It was right there on Mercury Boulevard. It
Yeah, it's
probably
still
still
there.
is.
Yeah.
I almost brought up to you, what do you think about putting this show on public access TV?
Well, you know how we feel about videos.
I know, but it would be hilarious if we just had to pound it. People watch us on local cable TV, public access, pounding beers, talking about the politics.
This show would never get approved for that.
Probably. This show wouldn't get approved for anything. That's why we keep getting kicked off of stuff. Oh, speaking of getting kicked off of stuff, have you seen Greta Thunberg lately?
No, where is she?
I don't know. Oh, she hates Israel. I don't care about that. She turned into this friggin' smoking bombshell. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, she still has that Greta Thunberg face, but I saw her in a bathing suit. I was like, what the?
Well,
All right.
she's probably like 18 now,
I
so
think she's 19 by now.
all right. I mean, the
Yeah.
left was using her when she was 16, saying she couldn't fly anywhere. She had to come across the country on a sailboat for green energy.
Yeah, with a carbon fiber boat made of literally carbon with a giant ship next to her, right behind her, being run on diesel fuel. Come on, that was a dirtier footprint than a plane.
So if everybody wants EVs, why are we going to spend $6 billion from the federal government to help an electric car vehicle manufacturer restart construction?
Because it's Rivian, they are fairly new.
Okay.
I've seen one or two around. I like their headlight setup, it's neat, but they need this giant bailout because they're trying to compete with Tesla and Ford and Chevy.
Well, Tesla gets their money from the federal government too. Elon Musk has not had an original idea yet. He's just bought into companies and taken over companies that he saw potential in growth in.
Yeah, so
Nah, I'm just
but
saying, yeah.
but he saw what was going to take off and he put the resources in the right place and made it happen. Look at what
Well, he may
SpaceX
have
just
failed
landed.
with the Tesla electric truck.
You know what's interesting about the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Um, I would not use it to be a truck, but the battery on that thing is enormous.
It has to be.
No, like power your entire house for days, enormous.
Oh, wasn't it?
See,
I thought Elon was going to come up with a wall battery system that you could
already
like,
did. That already exists. But this is a
but it's super
situation where
expensive.
yes, but I'm talking I could take a Cybertruck from here in West Virginia. I could have taken
Uh-huh.
it to North Carolina after the hurricane
Yeah.
and powered a city block for an entire day.
Or you could take a nuclear powered Navy ship down there.
Yes, but it's tough to get one of those in Tornado Alley, for example. You know what I mean? But yeah, Haiti, when Carl Vinson plugged into Haiti and powered the entire fucking island after that hurricane.
Hmm.
That was insane. And no, it was funny. I remember thinking, I was like, that's nuts. But I was specifically trained that
To do
ship
that.
was designed to do this.
Yeah.
Do people understand this? These nuclear
No.
aircraft carriers in the United States have two nuclear reactors in them, unless they're the Enterprise.
The Enterprise
Then,
doesn't exist anymore.
oh, you're right. You're right. It
It's
had
still
eight.
sitting in Newport News. Ain't went nowhere. But
Uh, it's funny because I read a story recently about the Ford, and I was like, "Hey, someone gave me tickets to go see that ship be christened."
yep.
I
You didn't go.
did go. We did go. We just left before they actually cracked the bottle of our champagne open.
All right.
I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, the
Well,
truck
we
will.
got the repeat offender now.
Yeah, bringing us good news.
Yep. Patel. No more Ray.
G'day, lads and Lowy. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
geez,
breaking news. Cash Patel, FBI director. The clean out is continuing.
got to clean out the ATF, the FBI. I say we should abolish the ATF. Um, I want to see the Department of
Doge is looking into
Education disappear. Huh?
Doge has already said they're going to look into the ATF.
Oh, you.
Doge. I'm sure Jeffrey's investing in Dogecoin ever since Doge was announced. My
Oh, but a
brother's
ton.
swearing up and down he's made $16,000 in Dogecoin.
I reckon
He's
loaded.
he's either full of shit,
No, he
which,
started with Doge a lot, like 10 years
Clean out.
ago. So,
but
Yeah.
to make that much in Doge, you had to have invested thousands and thousands of dollars.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, there's still fractions of a penny a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's all happening, mate. It's going to be interesting. I think this is great. Like, to the Senate, the House. Oh, look out. This is
We
going to be a big
barely have
work.
the House by anything, so
Still got it. Still
our
got it.
margin is even smaller than the last term, and Trump's been pulling people out of the House of Representatives for his cabinet too, so that's
yeah.
going to pose a problem.
Well,
Well,
I
the,
think
the
what
governors get to replace him.
How
yeah.
long does that take? Special elections.
Well, the special
Oh,
election happens. You can appoint that. Most of these governors are allowed to appoint someone to
Not
fill
for
the
House of
position.
Representatives, for Senate.
I thought they could for. I thought some states could.
Maybe,
Maybe,
but I
maybe
always
not.
thought it was you had to have a special election for House of Representatives, but the governors could appoint for
Well, let's do
terms
that.
of senators.
We should go back to that anyway. What was it? The 17th Amendment. That the people voted for the Senate instead of being appointed by the government officials of the state.
Oh, it's the other way around. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
We
DeSantis,
should go back.
sorry. I was just
Well,
going to
I
say
don't think
DeSantis.
we
Sorry,
got a delay coming from down under. I apologize,
sorry, mate.
everyone.
Yeah, well, he's on
No,
the road, so he's trying to get home to get to his beer. He's trying to open up his can of Foster's.
I see that look of rage on his face.
I will crack a Foster's and drink it if one of you guys does a Bud Light, and you have to pay me 25 American dollars.
It's
I'd rather
$25
drink a
for a Foster's in Australia. Oh no, he wants us to pay him $25 and he'll drink a
I would
Foster.
rather drink a Foster's than a Bud Light, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Get that big oil can at the Outback
Yeah.
Steakhouse.
Yeah. They're the only ones that sell it.
Foster's, Australian for beer.
That is a bigger lie than the bloody Democrat National Conference, mate.
Beyonce's gonna play, you know.
One of these times she's gonna play. Just keep coming. She's coming.
Did you hear what Joe
God.
Rogan said? $10 million got to speak for 3 minutes, and he goes, that was enough. 3 minutes. $10 million.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious too, because I keep hearing about how the billionaires on Trump's side, which we've gone over 1,000 times on the show, the billionaires are actually Democrats. But Kamala Harris spent almost 3 times as much money as Trump did, and Trump spent 4 years to spend this money, and Harris did in 3 months.
Yeah, and she still owes her campaign staff like
$20
$20,000.
million. Oh yeah, her
But
actual staff.
that was the biggest insult. Trump said, we've still got money left from our campaign. We might lend it to you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, you know what? That would make my fucking day if Trump reached into his own personal private pocket and paid off the $20 million that Kamala Harris campaign owes.
He might just
You
still do it.
know, the Democrats, they would take the money and then they would be furious about it.
They're guaranteed they take the money because then that makes it so their fundraising starts all over again. They're not $20 million in the hole.
Exactly. But then how many people are going to be furious if they took the money from Trump? And it's like,
Oh, all the base.
oh, yeah, it'd be hilarious. You know, you'd laugh your ass off if he trolled them that hard. Like, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it a sad tale when John Fetterman looks like the smartest Democrat around at the moment?
Yeah, I know, dude. We keep talking about Fetterman because he keeps saying smart stuff. And
Yeah.
if the guy who couldn't speak a year and a half ago because of his stroke is the smartest guy in your party, you might have a problem here.
Right.
The tiny one.
And that's the thing, though, is I got a feeling Fetterman has actually worked in his life before, and he's been around people that actually work.
I don't think he has.
I maybe not like a real full-time take care of my family thing, but I think at one point he worked hard in a Philadelphia or a Pittsburgh type job. And I think he's been around it and he knows what real hard work really is versus these people that are taking the day off to scream at the river. It's like, If you can afford to take a day off to scream at the river because you lost a presidential election, maybe you need to check your own fucking privilege.
You might have grown up, someone has got a nice lawn or something, you know? Some like growing up beside him or something.
Yeah.
Some with a nice lawn out the front.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on all sorts of stuff, where you grew up in general. Like
Yeah.
where I was, we had people that worked with their hands living next door to lawyers. You know
What
what I
did
mean? We
you
didn't
think
have
of Kamala's bloody video?
oh, her drunk one
Which one?
where we're
The
not
last
losing
one.
power.
Yeah. Don't lose your power. You still got power.
I don't know if she was necessarily drunk. I wish I had to. I actually looked for it and couldn't find just the clip, but I don't think she was necessarily drunk. I think she might have public speaking anxiety and takes some kind of medication that does that to her.
I've spoken to drunk people, mate. She was mad.
Well, when she does, every now and then when she speaks, she sounds like someone woke her up in the middle of the night after taking Ambien to go to bed. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, true.
Like, you know, not even necessarily a glass of wine on top of it, because you got the Ambien and the glass of wine. Now all of a sudden you're screaming on the plane. You have to get off the plane because the gremlins are going to eat the engine or whatever. You remember that video? Oh, it was huge. This beautiful woman, young lady, flipped out. I was like, if you guys want to stay on this plane and die, that's okay, but I'm getting out of here.
Where'd
Apparently
she
she had
go?
apparently, huh?
What are we talking about?
Talking about that woman on the plane a while ago, and the video that went viral of her
Oh, okay.
flipping out, how the plane's gonna crash and she has to get off. You
You
remember that
reckon the
video?
reptile was the spider?
Well, yeah, it turns out she had like 2 glasses of wine at the airport bar before she got on the plane, then took an Ambien. The flight got delayed and she
So
fell
she's
asleep on the
mixing
plane before,
her medication with alcohol.
and then woke up in the middle of it because the plane got delayed, the flight got delayed. And that's why she was
You
like,
did it
she was
responsibly.
asleep and all sorts of jacked up, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I got a
You
feeling
did
that's
it
what's going on with
responsibly.
Harris, is that she's on some kind of anti-anxiety and it's doing that to her, like so she can speak. I don't think it's necessarily booze when it may be, she might be a drunk. I don't know.
I put more money on weed than drinking.
Nah, she wouldn't be screwing up the way she is if it was pot. She would forget what she was. Well, like if it's written down in front of her, maybe not though.
So you saw where this judge ruled that San Jose State University's trans woman volleyball player can compete in the tournament
I did, and I also saw that this team won 6 games this season due to
by
forfeit.
forfeit because other teams refused to play against them.
Yes. That news made it all the way down there.
Yeah, I heard about it, mate.
Well,
Unfortunately,
look who we're talking about. He knows more about American politics than most Americans know.
Well, I guess this dude. Thing is, this dude passes as a woman. Have you seen the pictures?
yeah, but he's 6'2", something, isn't he?
Okay, yes.
Has he had the final surgery?
I don't
Adam's
know.
apple.
I didn't look. I didn't even get the option. I'm just saying this. I saw a picture of this person's face on the volleyball court. Unless it's a picture of someone else on the team, actually looks like a woman. Now, I'm not saying it's not an unfair advantage. Saying the tip, if it's the same person I'm seeing, then they would be able to get away with going into the women's restroom without someone saying, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" You know what I mean?
Okay.
But to be fair, mate, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was seeing pretty looking women at 5 o'clock. They haven't been the same.
I'm having the most difficult. I've been good about your accent lately, but with the echo in your car, man, I'm having a tough time.
Oh, sorry, mate. Like I said, plenty of good looking women at 3 a.m. in the morning, but at 5 a.m.,
Oh,
mate, they've changed really quickly.
yeah, them beer goggles, man. That's how you go home.
Beer
we
goggles
also
exist everywhere.
Yeah, that's
dude,
universal, that one.
you remember sea goggles though?
Yeah.
You'd go out to sea and there's a handful of fours on the ship. You've been at sea for 3 months without a port visit. All of a sudden, you got a freaking ton of tens, right? It's because on the carrier, there's 4,950 dudes and 50 women. And I mean, come on, let's just be real here. You know what's going to happen. All of a sudden, that hobgoblin with a limp is looking pretty damn hot. Was this just me? Was I the only one who dealt with this?
My last ship had females on it, and I knew better than to go anywhere near them.
Oh, oh, yeah, I see. I made that mistake. Not just on the ship, but in my division.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
I think it was bad. I had to muster every day with this broad.
I remember. I actually met her.
Yeah, we and the thing is, we ended up being friends after the fact, after this whole thing. But that shit went true. I learned my lesson, and I finally understood what they meant by "don't shit where you eat."
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, now I get it.
100%, mate.
I get it now. But stupid kids do stupid shit, right?
Yeah. Well, in the category of Trump's president-elect and shit's changing, the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, has just signed a transgender bathroom ban into law in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes. Is this just going to sit as it is, or is the Supreme Court going to uh hear the case?
I don't think the Supreme Court's going to hear the case.
You don't think they're going to pick it up just to, at least does it make sure it's okay? Because
No.
the Supreme Court doesn't necessarily have to overturn something, especially in a state government. They may just be like, we want to make sure everything's cool, so we can go ahead and say there's nothing
I
you can do
think
about it
I
too.
think unless it gets elevated to a federal level, the Supreme Court, the current Supreme Court has been pretty much
Oh, dude, the
states
state
do
Supreme
what the
Courts.
states want to do, and we're
Yeah,
fine with that
I'm not
until
talking
it
about
supersedes the Constitution.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
SCOTUS, dude. I'm talking about the Ohio Supreme Court.
Well, I don't know the makeup of the Ohio Supreme Court. I don't know who's nominated who for it. So yeah, I mean, definitely, sure. If there's a bunch of Dems on the Ohio Supreme Court, yeah, it'll get heard.
Or even Republicans, they might want to hear it just to say, nope, this completely fits within the rules and guidelines put out by the Constitution of Ohio.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Well, because once you do that, it makes it even more difficult to undo it.
Yeah.
Like you have no appeal left after the Supreme Court weighs in, unless you go to the United States Supreme Court. But that's, whew,
Not easy to do with a state law.
yeah, that's a tough one with the state exactly. What? Actually, they get involved with a lot of state law. Look how many of these gun laws the United
Yeah,
States.
well, when it deals with the Second Amendment or intercommerce commerce laws, where it's state to state type transactions.
Yeah, like Massachusetts and New York keep passing illegal gun laws, and SCOTUS has to keep stepping in saying you can't do that. Oh, I know I mentioned it once, but I purchased a 6-shooter today for my wife as a stocking stuffer.
So you're gonna put in her
Uh,
stocking on Christmas?
Yep. It's a 22 6-shooter revolver. It's going to be a ton of fun to go shooting with this thing. It weighs 3 times as much as it should, but that means there's gonna be zero recoil from a 22 coming out of it. And we have no problem shooting this thing off the back porch into the backyard. Like just shooting in the backyard. Like the shotgun, I'm a little more concerned about firing it at the top of a mountain because they're big and heavy and go further going down the hill. The 22 is gonna find something to get stuck in.
You know who loves shotguns? President Biden.
Yeah, Biden.
I
was
still
gonna say
can't believe
same
he
thing,
told. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing, Biden. loves shotguns, doesn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
I
And
can't.
Jeffrey
I still
keeps
can't.
bringing this. Jeffrey's the one that told me about this story originally, and I just got to keep bringing it up over and over again on the show.
Because it's
Why do
ridiculous.
you,
He said. He
why do you
said
need a
you don't.
semi-automatic?
Oh no, he said you don't. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, why do you need a semi-automatic? You don't need to shoot the guy. Just go upstairs, open the window, and shoot your shotgun out the upstairs window, and that robber's gonna run away. I'm like, did he just tell you to shoot your gun into a shotgun into the sky?
Yes.
But that is illegal in all 50 states. Because I don't know
You
if
know
you
why?
realize
You
it.
know why it's
That
illegal in all
much
50 states?
because those
Because there's
9 millimeter
gravity
balls go
involved.
back
What
down.
comes up, what goes up must come
And yeah, you're
down.
gonna blast 9 to 12 ball bearings up to 9 millimeters or bigger. Just blast them in an arch. Which what if that lands in some dude's backyard and his kid's on the swing set? You know what I mean?
And while
Yeah,
you reload, you just got shot by a semi-automatic.
Yeah, but Joe's like, oh, just commit a felony. They'll go away. I was like, well, you may as well shoot the motherfucker then. You know?
You know?
Oh my god.
While
Yeah.
you reload from shooting in the air, mate, you've just been shot by a semi-automatic.
Well, here's the fun thing about a revolver. Uh, it doesn't count as a semi-automatic because it's not.
It's a
Now,
revolver.
huh?
Yeah, because it's
Well,
not.
exactly, because it's not. But every time I squeeze the trigger, a bullet comes out.
Yeah.
I don't have to pump it. I don't have to rack a bolt. I don't have to breech load. But it's a dual action setup with the cocking of the hammer is a separate action, making it not semi-automatic.
Okay.
It's well, what's fun about that is you can get revolvers with more chambers that spin around, so you can hold more ammunition in one, and you could pop off. I was looking at a pair of 22s the other day because I was considering getting these for my wife. They hold 11 rounds each, and I could get two of them for like $500. And I was like, shit, that'd be so much fun to have 22 rounds on you.
Oh, yeah.
You're like one of the movies. That'd be so much fun in the backyard shooting at the targets, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah, but that doesn't, even if you ban semi-automatics, these revolvers that fire 11 rounds each would not be considered semi-automatic or high capacity because there's no magazine or clip, which I need to find a weapon with a clip I can get because I got a pump action, I got a bolt action, I have a semi-automatic. We just got a revolver. Now I need something that feeds clips in through the top because I'd like to own one of each. You know what I mean? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I got excited
So
about
you're
guns there for
super
a minute.
excited about the Washington Commanders have agreed to uncancel the Redskins logo.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was. I read this article twice because I was like, no fucking way. They're gonna uncancel it. And then like the next you right away is like bullshit. I know this is wrong. And then the next day
Well,
you shared this other article.
they're agreeing to like they're not bringing it back, but
But I could buy a jersey with it on it.
yes.
I could buy the old jersey now.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
I'm willing to accept that you changed your logo. It was messed up that you tried to just pretend it never happened what you had before. You know what I mean?
Well, especially when you've got Indian chiefs from reservations, tribes all around the country saying, "Hey, that wasn't disrespectful to us, you know, that was honoring our heritage, you know, when you had that logo."
Not just that, but this
100%.
one particular dude was the mascot logo, was a guy, and that particular tribe has showed up several times. Be like, this was a big deal because this guy was such a great dude,
Yeah.
and it's like, again, you kept the land, but you got rid of the Indian
It's all cancel culture, you know. It's like when I got rid of Aunt Jemima, I won't buy syrup.
from the
That's
pearl
not
milk.
Aunt Jemima. I only go with Mrs. Butterworth now.
See, that's
I
what's
won't
messed up
buy
too.
Pearl Milling Company syrup.
Well, you got exactly. They got rid of Aunt Jemima. They got rid of the Land O'Lakes Indian.
Yep.
There was a couple others, weren't there? A couple
Oh
other big
yeah.
ones. I can't
Oh,
remember.
good, mate.
But but Mr. Clean and Wendy still have their jobs,
Yeah.
and Colonel Sanders. It's like you guys are not helping your cause here, guys.
Right.
I mean, what are you gonna run on next time if you don't have this to complain about, right?
Exactly.
As I was saying last time I was on, guys, like, is dying. Like, you look at that DEI. Companies are now kicking themselves doing it now. They're going back the old way to get rid of all DEI from their companies and that.
Yeah. I think I understand what you're saying. They're going back old school, and it was just the product.
And you hide someone on their ability, not because they're black, pink, white, yellow, orange. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But most people don't hear the other side of the story. Like the lady behind Aunt Jemima, her family has made
millions.
millions
Her family's
off
been
of the
supported by
syrup.
this. Yeah, her family was supported off of this syrup because of it
Her
was her
likeness
recipe.
being used by
Yeah.
the Pearl Mill Company, you know, and
Yeah,
now
and
they're not getting paid anymore because her likeness ain't being used no more.
exactly.
That would have been a nice little royalty, that one.
It
Yeah.
was.
And I mean, I won't touch Aunt Jemima. I won't touch Mrs. Butterworth. I won't touch any of that garbage. I get real maple syrup. All
From
right.
West Virginia.
My brother lives in Vermont, dude. I get
He ships it
real.
down to you?
Yeah. Dude, I used to drive up there every year to buy syrup because they're like, oh, let's go visit my brother. I'll pick up syrup for the year. Once you've had real 100%.
I understand that, but
Oh, it's so
I thought you weren't
good.
talking to your brother anymore.
I don't not talk to him. He and I just don't get along so well. Like we don't have beef, but like we have nothing to talk about or do together. You know what I mean? No, I mean he's a Bernie bro. Uh what's funny is he's out in the mountains in Vermont. I came to the mountains of West Virginia.
You got that in common.
Yeah, well, that might be a fun conversation actually talking about the different mountain experiences we've had.
Yeah.
I've already had more snow than him by a foot and a half.
Nice.
All right. Apparently the Spanish soccer team has two dudes playing on the women's team. And by dudes, I'm not just saying like, yeah, okay, they still have beards. It's one thing to be like, all right, I'll play the trans athlete. All right. Chances are I'm not going to get hurt in a soccer game. It can happen. Legs break, arms break. Chances are I'm going to be all right. And then two dudes with beards show up, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. You know? Oh, I don't know. You probably play more football than I do because I don't at all. But that ball is pretty hard, isn't it?
Oh,
Ron?
pumped up. Yeah, I play rugby league. I used to, mate.
No, I don't mean. I
Okay.
mean international football, American soccer.
Oh, yeah, mate, yeah. Like soccer. Mate, it's hard. It's just like, you can kick it, but when you try to head it all the time, it gives yourself a little bit of brain damage.
Yeah, well, yeah. And now all of a sudden you got a dude booting the ball at your face.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And exactly, you thought you were playing the trans athlete, like who's gone through the hormone therapy and everything, and then two dudes with beards show up on the field. Like, shit, I might actually get hurt here. I mean, I've hit one of them balls with my head before, and it hurt.
You've got to look at a bigger picture with it too, mate. Like Piers Morgan, I don't know if you guys have heard of Piers. He's a
Yeah,
Pommy.
dude. Tim Pool was on a
yeah.
show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He said that from the UN, they put out a statement a couple of weeks ago, or something like 900 medals that women missed out on because of transgender people in their sport. 900 medals throughout the world that women missed completely out on winning because they were up against men.
Yeah, and I have nothing against the trans community.
No.
I'm just saying that we have to understand if we're going to have a women's league, like why bother having different leagues if you can go back and not even back and forth if you can switch. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't see any women going from the women's division to the men's division.
No, that's the problem with this whole plan, you know.
When was the last woman you saw? When was the last woman you saw who transitioned into a man and competed on a professional sports level anywhere?
I don't know of any.
Now, I can give you an example of one woman who competed professionally with men. Her career didn't last long. Manon Riom played for the Tampa Bay Lightning. She was the goaltender.
Okay.
She didn't make
She
it
was
the entire...
transitioning?
Nope, woman.
Oh, well, that's different. I'm looking for a transitioning woman, a man.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is this person wasn't even transitioning, so she was good enough to compete with the men.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
They thought, but then she actually competed with the men in an actual game versus, you know, the difference between a scrimmage, like a practice, and an actual game. Like the adrenaline that kicks in, that extra level, that, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When you get into game mode, you kick it up a level. When she kicked it up a level, she couldn't compete with the men that kicked it up. And
that's why the Olympics, mate, they don't have two different sports. Like you have males, females separately. If there's no difference, why weren't women running against the male runners or going in the boxing against the men if they're equal? No?
Well, if it's all the same, why is the men's weightlifting record so much heavier than the women's record, and the men's 200-meter dash so much faster than the women's?
That's right.
You know, don't tell me this is society being mean. There's a legitimate difference.
Oh, mate, look, I agree with you. I've got nothing against trans people. I like to give respect where respect's due. You know. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you still got that chromosome in your body. It's still going to outbeat most women.
That's hilarious. Sorry, I thought Brian was doing something else. Then I got a message from him. But I thought it was something else than what it was. Turned out to be the next Google Doc for the next show, and he changed the background in the messenger.
I'm multitasking. I'm multitasking.
No, it's funny because I was like, oh, that's why I nodded my head because I expected to click on it and for it to say wrap it up.
We can do that too.
I was like, oh crap, we've been at this for 2 hours.
But we still got a few more things to talk about, and now we got Ron on board, so I'm fine with it, you know.
All right,
rolling.
There was so much college football to talk about. So many things happened in sports in general. And I made it a point not to share sports because we try to avoid it. And I know I brought Atani in with baseball. But of all the stuff I thought you were going to share that was going to be a sport, it would have been what happened at the Raiders-Chiefs game, not Michigan versus Ohio State. But
I watched the Raiders-Chiefs game, and it was a shit show at the end too.
Yeah, it's still in contention as to what actually happened. But Michigan, they aren't
having a good season.
What's the name of their team?
The Wolverines.
Wolverines.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they usually do pretty
They
well.
lost their head coach last year to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they lost to the Buckeyes.
No, they won against the Buckeyes.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was an upset over the Buckeyes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Buckeyes were actually nationally ranked. They had a number next to them. They thought they were going to be in the playoffs for the college football championship. And Michigan came into their home state and defeated them. into their
Normally,
stadium.
see, normally that wouldn't surprise me because I don't know why. I the Buckeyes should not be Big Ten. They have no business competing against those teams most of the time. Every now and then they
Yeah, but
pull a
Michigan's winning record this year is like 3 or 4. You know,
Michigan usually has a decent team.
not this year.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate because how many of those kids got giant scholarships that paid for school if they played football and they're losing and losing? Which I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
mean,
people
Michigan's
understand
won
that.
7 games, lost 5. Ohio State had won 10 and lost 2 as of the end of the day's game.
Yeah, but who has Ohio played? Are they playing the Seminoles and the Gators, or are they playing like fucking Framingham State out of Massachusetts? You know what I mean?
There was a bit of a blow up in the game too, wasn't there?
What's that?
There was a bit of a blow up before the game too, wasn't there?
There was a
Michigan
midfield fight
After the game,
after the game. Yeah.
after, yeah.
when Michigan players try to plant the Michigan Wolverine flag in the middle of Ohio State's logo.
Okay. Well, first of all, good for you, Michigan. I love the balls. And at the same time, good for you, Ohio State. No fucking way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah. This is predicted, you know. It's gonna be a brawl.
That's huge balls to say F you or planting our flag in the middle of your logo.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So does that mean Michigan moves on, or does that just mean they have another win on their
They
record?
just got another win.
Okay, so that
It's
wasn't
not in the playoffs yet, so they just have another
Well, they
win.
pulled this
So.
awesome win out of their ass, but they can't beat the other Joe Schmo team that's not nationally
Yeah,
ranked.
exactly. Uh-huh.
That sounds like the Boston Red Sox for like 80 years.
Or the Detroit Lions.
Oh my God. I know the Lions will beat the Patriots when they're in the middle of their dynasty, but they'd lose to the Browns next week.
Yep, exactly. So you see
You're like,
where
what's going on over there?
this ex-Clinton advisor came out and said in the Washington Advisor today that AOC's 2028 presidential run would be a disaster.
Well, it's funny that you brought this up because I saw this thing that she might run for president in 2028. I was like, well, that's a stupid idea. And then I saw this same article that you shared. And I decided not to share it because I was like, I don't like talking about her. She makes me very angry. But then I read a third article from a Republican point of view that said, don't underrate AOC running for president. Somehow she keeps winning her same seat in Brooklyn. So I don't know what to think. I think your average American would be like, no, she's stupid, but she's got millions of followers on social media.
Yeah.
So it's not just Brooklyn.
She's got name recognition across the whole
Exactly.
country.
Taylor Swift had so many millions following her too, but it didn't work. But the thing you got to look at, like, you honestly, you guys know yourselves, if Trump comes through and he gets a great economy going again,
Vance will get the next one.
2026, he sets you guys up with a great running economy. You'll win more houses in the Senate.
Well, that'd be JD Vance winning as president.
If Trump can deliver on what he's promising, JD Vance will get 4 years at least, maybe 8.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully by then the Democrats can pull their heads out of their asses and put up a real candidate. Like, for real, I've been waiting for a real candidate from the Democrats. And look what they've been throwing at us. Like, Obama was a decent candidate. I didn't agree with him, but he was a good, very charismatic man. They didn't even make the whole thing about him being half black. You know what I mean? Like, it was brought up, but it wasn't the big deal. But that was all they could do for Clinton and Harris.
Obama was relevant.
I mean, Joe Biden was the best they could give us, and we voted for him. Come on, dude. What if all you have to be is not Trump to run the Democratic ticket? Can't you find someone better than Biden or Harris?
You'd think.
Well, one of the Democrat donors from Florida, the guy got on, he bagged the shit out of Kamala. He turned around and he said, all these people who voted for Kamala, they didn't vote for her. They voted against Trump. So he said everyone who voted for Trump voted for Trump. That's the big difference.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing, and that's actually a point I brought up several times. That you didn't vote for Harris, you were voting against Trump. Why couldn't you come up with something better than not Trump? Even if it's just not Trump, couldn't it be someone like? Why am I picking between the lesser of two evils in these people's point of view?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, so is it a giant douche or is it a shit sandwich?
Yeah, just the butter you put on it.
I mean, if that's the way you look at it, it's like, come on, like, why doesn't the guy running the fucking steel mill in the city, why doesn't he run for president? Because he's not Trump, and he's running a steel mill, so he must be at least somewhat successful and have a general idea how to make shit work. Like,
Don't you think it's funny how Newsom's name hasn't been mentioned yet?
what's that?
Don't you think it's funny that Gavin Newsom's name hasn't been mentioned yet?
I brought it up several times actually, and I was so very wrong. Thing is, he wanted nothing to do with the presidency and the vice presidency. Apparently, she came to him about the VP before Walls, and he said no because he didn't want to be attached to this campaign.
Yeah.
Because maybe he is going to be the candidate next time around. But if Trump actually delivers cheaper goods and more money in my pocket,
Newsom won't get elected,
and no war, then yeah, we're not seeing a Democrat in office for a while.
Well, California, mate, the Democrats are going to be in big trouble in California. See how many places that Trump flipped there.
California, I'm very curious what's going to happen there. They're turning red.
Yep, big time.
but they're the same. They've got the same thing going on as like Boston and New York. It's like they've got, and even Virginia. You've got your highly populous areas of the state that are voting Dem that control the rest of the state.
10 counties flipped in California to red. 10 counties. That's insane. And they were all southern counties, I think.
I think you got to come to NorCal. I think you got to go to NorCal.
Exactly, dude. Exactly that. It's the north, the south, the central. It's such a huge freaking state. There's going to be different politics in different areas, right?
Yeah. 100%.
California is too big to be a solid state, but they seem to be pulling it off. Texas is somehow pulling it off. You have any idea how big Texas is?
I do. I've been there.
That doesn't mean you know how big it is. The entire
It's fucking
nation,
huge. It takes like 2 days to drive through the states, kind of like California.
The entire nation of Israel fits within Texas without touching any of the borders.
How many Rhode Islands can fit into Texas?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm going to guess several hundred. Rhode Island's a very small state.
I know. I've driven through it.
I've driven through it many times. What the fuck is that island that has Scotland and Wales and England?
The UK.
The UK.
Great Britain.
Great Britain. UK's the entire thing.
With Northern Ireland.
Oh my god. So then, what the fuck do we call? What's the term for the thing that is all of it all, like Australia and Canada and all of that?
Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth.
The British Commonwealth.
But they're independent nations.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to leave the Commonwealth?
We can secede.
There's I remember reading a story and seeing a movie about Scotland deciding they don't want to be a part of the Commonwealth and fought a 400-year war over it.
They got their independence, but then again lost it.
Oh my god. What? I'm sorry, European history is ridiculous. And this British Empire thing is ridiculous. And you know what? I still hear people say, oh, the sun never sets on the British Empire. Like,
I think it does now.
Actually, it does, but you know where it doesn't set? The United States of America.
Where the
Because
sun don't shine.
we don't call it an empire, but Guam, Hawaii, a whole bunch of these islands around the planet, the sun is always up on the United States. And maybe that's why the world is calling the United States an empire right now. Maybe that's why the entire fucking world pays attention when Joe Biden's the president saying, oh, fuck, what's going to happen?
Well, mate, I tell you what, isn't Trump moving things along? But you look at Mexico now. That president of Mexico, he's hitting himself.
Yeah, apparently
he's come down to Mar-a-Lago too.
Mm-hmm.
Guitar.
Yeah, but I guess Maduro's not president of Mexico anymore.
No, it's a female.
Female president.
Yeah, see, I missed that somehow, and I don't know how I missed that. How did I miss that?
By that much?
By about that much. I don't miss news like that though. Like the the presidency of Mexico changing hands. How did I miss something like that? Let alone it being a woman. Is this their first woman?
Yeah, but the funny thing about it was, she put up resistance to Trump saying that we're going to put tariffs on you. She put up a bit of resistance. Next day, she's put out a statement saying we're going to stop the convoys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's what okay. Let Mexico put up a tariff. Let them. The American goods are still selling in Mexico because anything the United States exports, not anything, we export some crap. Like, I hate to say Ford, but Ford is easy to work on yourself in your garage. But it's a vehicle you can do on your own. You don't need a mechanic necessarily with a Ford. But like GE, Maytag, they make quality products. You know what I mean? Well, Mexico, if you're buying these products, you're probably still going to buy the same product because it's a quality product.
They stopped that massive car plant, didn't they? That Chinese helped Mexico try to build just outside of the US border.
Well, see, that's why I like this idea of tariffs, is because you're not necessarily or only punishing a country, because you can say we're going to put a 25% tariff on automotive imports from Mexico, and that's going to prevent Ford and Chevrolet from exporting their workforce to Mexico, because then to bring the cars back in to sell them, they have to pay a tariff. It's like, we'll just build the fucking cars here. It's going to cost us more money, but we're going to have to pay less tax. It encourages American jobs. And even better than that, Samsung is now encouraged to open a factory in the United States, because if Samsung produces them in the United States, there's no tariff on that product. That's, it's like, shit, the United States used to make all of its income from tariffs way back in the day. There was no, yeah. Well, it was like, okay, you brought in wine from France in 1791. The government takes a cut of it, but like you and me could do business, and the government didn't give a shit. That was how the government got its money back in the day. But now, after World War II, they can just take money out of my fucking paycheck. That's bullshit.
I know, mate. Another one interesting thing too. You hear what's happening with BRICS? Russia has now stated that they'll never go into BRICS.
Yeah. Well, they said no, they won't. They will not join BRICS because of the 100% tariff.
Nah, because what's going to happen with the Ukraine war? You watch what happens. Zelensky will cede land to Russia.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin will say, "Righto, we won't go into BRICS. We'll stop all this shit."
And this is going to be the trade-off. We won't join BRICS, and Ukraine gives us the strip of land we want.
Right.
Yep.
Ooh. I wish we were still doing a predictions page, because I would put that in there, because this actually sounds like a decent compromise. Plus,
absolutely
Russia would be able
right.
to get out of the 100% tariff
Right.
attached to bricks.
Well, the thing is, too, like Trump's already stated, he said, I'll drop tariffs on you. And embargoes, mate. Everything he's got on him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I think of embargo. Um, I would rather something be expensive and difficult to get than impossible to get.
But it's happening already. So
Yeah,
you've
I
got to wait,
know.
what,
The United States
many
did
more
it for
days?
decades with Cuba.
Yeah, well, exactly. Cuba, look at that.
Yeah, I can buy Cuban goods now. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I understand the idea of an embargo in a wartime, but I don't think we should have kept an embargo on Cuba for 40 years or whatever it was. Like, let the people of Cuba themselves. And granted, maybe the government was taking all of the money of the guys rolling these beautiful cigars. I don't know. But I
They
mean,
just
those
get
poor
so
guys were
commodity,
driving
don't
around cars from 1950 that they were still fixing them and making run because they couldn't get their hands on anything else.
they? But things like that, all that does is just hurt the normal person, the working class person.
It hurts
That's all it
everybody.
does. You know? They're the ones that can't cop more.
Okay, the wife didn't know this name and it pissed me off. Chuck Lowry died.
Yep.
And it really drove me nuts that the wife didn't know who Chuck Lowry was.
Well, because she's kind of young, she probably hasn't seen him on the original Wheel of Fortune or Love Connection.
I
definitely knew who he was.
I'm about a year and 7 months older than her, and I not only did I know who Chuck Lowry was when I read this, but I could see his face in my head.
Right.
And I don't remember him being on Wheel of Fortune. I only remember Pat Sajak.
I'll be back in 10 minutes, guys. I just got to race to the shop really quickly.
We're gonna be wrapping up before you're back then. Don't
All
worry
right,
though,
guys.
'cause, yeah, you don't have to sign off though. We're still gonna be talking. The show will be over in 10
Don't
minutes
worry.
though.
No worries,
Yeah.
mate. I'll check in and see if he's still there. It's been good chatting to you. I'll write next week. If you want to chat. It's always good to catch up.
Yep.
No, make sure you crack open that Foster's.
Oh, mate, I'll get it too as soon as I get home. As soon as I get
Probably
home,
can't
go
even buy it in Australia.
Well, you can't buy it nowhere here. We don't want to buy it. I told you we export it to you guys in the palm.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I know Americans drink weaker beer than most of the rest of the world, but this just means I get to drink twice as many of them.
Come to my
Right?
place for a weekend. I bet you won't say that again.
But the thing is, I ran into some trouble overseas in the Navy trying to drink 15 beers and going, uh-oh. And so did
I've
you,
never had any
Brian.
trouble in the Navy.
Mate,
Fucking
you know why I have
liberty
trouble
buddy.
drinking 15 beers? Because I hate odd numbers. It has to be 16.
Okay. You're a strange man.
So it's got to be an even number I
Repeat.
finish on. All right, brother. Take care, guys. I'll catch you
Take
later.
care.
I do want to talk about this one story. This woman who went to Whole Foods and paid for her groceries with a chip. Like, you can put a chip on your keychain and you can put them on your debit card and everything, your credit card, and you just like tap the chip. Her chip was implanted in her hand.
That's not good.
Well, let me go full on Catholic catechism here. This is the mark of the beast.
Yep.
It says in Revelations that we won't be trading currency for goods. We will have a mark upon us, and we will trade for goods either with our hand or our foreheads. I brought this up when they were talking about doing this chip thing a couple of years ago, how it's the mark of the beast.
Right.
And you will not be able to trade without this mark. And it will eventually become to that, just like you cannot get around today without a debit card, you cannot get around today without a cellular phone. sooner or later you're gonna have to choose. Do you want this in your body,
Right.
or do you want to try to do it on your own in the fucking woods? I know that got real heavy right here at the end, and I don't know where you stand on this. I don't know how much you guys did Sunday school, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huh?
We called it CCD.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Bible study you did and all that other stuff.
I've done a lot.
So you're familiar with the mark and how you can't
Yes.
participate in commerce without it.
Right. Mm-mm.
Um, I sorry, man. When stuff's too on the nose, it makes you have a good look. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I obviously don't know what's happening because I am but a man and cannot understand God's plan. And I think I'll end it there because none of us can ever know God's plan. We can only hope to do our best along the way.
Yep.
That's our show, folks.
All
If
right.
you did manage to make it to the end, consider tossing us a buck or two. Not even looking for a $50 donation.
Nope. I'm out of here.
Deuces.